En el centro de la pampa vive un pimiento. Sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento. Sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento.
Hello, I am Patrick Barnard. Welcome to the 115th edition of the Pimento Report. This past summer in August, we made a report, number 113, with a man called Joël Coutu. He is an ornithologist, a bird lover here in the region of Montreal, and this past August he took a whole group of birders, I would say more than 130 or 140 people, and he showed them the magnificent birds in a wetland in Ville Saint-Laurent that is very near the airport. In that area of Montreal, there are more than 150 species of birds, some of them very rare and some of them endangered. Joël Coutu gave a talk this past Friday, December 16th, in this church, Westmount Park United Church, about the birds of Ville Saint-Laurent. And he told the story of this area. For a long time, it was not developed at all. And that allowed nature to renaturalize the area with the help of some very industrious beavers. Consequently, birds on their way through Montreal, very special birds, love that region, and they love the marshes that are there. Joël told people here about them. He's on a kind of tour, speaking in French and English to Montrealers about the birds that come through this island and this very important ecological zone. What is happening there now? Promotion, development, real estate development is about to, I would say, destroy those marshes. And that's really the subject of Joël Coutu's talks. The birds and the environment that they depend upon, and I would say the failure. The failure of municipal politicians both in the core city of Montreal and in the Ville Saint-Laurent, the borough of Saint-Laurent, the failure to stand up for nature. So let's hear Joël Coutu.
Sort of started in April, but in June is when I sort of something hit me and sort of woke me up, and I knew that this area was going to be developed. But this was an area in June where I'm very busy in spring with the public. It's sort of my moment where I took my zen and I reconnect, and this was great. It's on the island of Montreal, it has wetlands, it has forest, it's close to the bird. Nobody knew me. This is the marsh that continues to the little one that you saw. So it's one big marsh. It's the biggest marsh on the island of Montreal. It's an area where it's an industrial park, it's not a residential park. So what I did was I led field trips. Then people would come, and then these people would discover this area. And during the breeding season, I led a lot of trips, and I visited this area often. I even did a big, massive gathering of 150 bird watchers at the end of August.
The birds are important. Would you say the birds are an indicator of how important these woods, these marshes are for all of us?
It's the best indicator because they're easier to see and find, obviously, than a very rare frog or a little snake, right? So that's the best indicators, and that's why there's so many people that are concerned, because no one can deny the numbers and the nesting species, and there's not just the numbers of birds, but it's overwhelming. So
now the green spaces on the island of Montreal are really under threat everywhere. That's not an exaggeration. Do you think these remaining green spaces here that the birds love so much should be preserved in their totality?
I'm hoping that's what we will have. You know, I can see a beautiful reserve here, and it'll attract just as many people in here. Here's a good example this morning with the rain. Imagine if we had a nice sunny day. And it's so unique because not many cities have a wetland. I mean, New York City or Toronto,
everybody be jealous. This is something unique, and it just takes a little bit of creativity, imagination, and you could probably develop something special here and show it to the world.
It's not like we have many wetlands left in Montreal, but if we throw in Ville Saint-Laurent, it's way up there. There's at least 167 species of birds have been observed there. Okay, if we go on eBird. This is the good part. In 2016, 153 species of birds have been observed there so far. This is the part that really feeds all the birds around. Now, all the birds don't necessarily nest in the marsh, they nest around it. But this is where they go and get their food, feed their young, and so this was very, very popular. This is what really provoked a lot of interest.
Joël, you just gave a fantastic talk at Westmount Park United Church. This is part of a series of talks that you're giving about the Technopark. What's the main point you're trying to get across to people?
Educate people about the area, and obviously people, whenever we hear Technopark, nobody thinks it's a wetland area, and I'm pretty sure after this lecture they discover the beauty of the wetlands, but also its inhabitants, the number of birds that use it and live there.
I'm going to show people part of the footage that I took this summer with you to illustrate what you're doing on the site. Tonight, you gave a very strong impression that the changes at the Technopark will destroy these marshes. Is that your view?
There's no way you can damage and play into a marsh and actually believe you can recreate something that you have naturally built, right? And studies throughout North America show it. And so the fact that building around it and suffocating, especially the eco-campus area, with buildings and parking lot and traffic, and there's no way that marsh will ever be or ever look like it does today.
You mentioned tonight a breaking story that an anonymous donor has given $25,000 to help defend these marshes. How does that make you feel, to know that somebody cares that much?
Well, it means I have faith in people, and I think we're doing something right. And there's people that believe in us, and that, you know, a no is no for destroying these wetlands. And it was it's motivating. It's great. It's really good news, and you know, it's not easy because obviously it's not you know, all these expenses, but who knows? I think people are seeing us and they like what we're doing, and they believe in us, and they believe it's important to protect and save these areas.
En el centro de la pampa vive un pimiento, sol y viento pa' su vida, sol y viento, sol y viento pa' su vida.